Hello, everyone. We have come here to present to all of you some of the amazing artworks found in the Museum of Fine Arts. As we explored the daily life in ancient Greece exhibit, we began to focus on the statues that related to women during the classical era. During our search, we found three unique artifacts that we believe perfectly embodies women that relate to today's society. But before we begin, let us introduce ourselves to all of you.
Hi everyone, my name is Anne Marie and I'm one of the Cover Museum art curators. I am so thrilled I was able to contribute my thoughts towards picking our three pieces for the exhibit. As I have a PhD in women's studies, I was truly fascinated with correlating ancient art to our modern gender concerns. I'm hoping you will find these three pieces as compelling as I do.
Hello everyone, my name is Jay Medvetsky and I'm very excited to discuss the classical era in Greece with all of you. It is my honor to be selected by the Cummer Museum of Art to view this exhibit and be able to share its unique elements. As a photographer, I have traveled to many different countries around the world and I've always thought that art can really show what kind of a culture each place has.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bisu, and I'm so excited to be here with all of you today. First, I would like to thank the committee for giving me the opportunity to come to the museum and select pieces for the new exhibit. Receiving a master's in fine arts, I have grown a keen eye for classical Greek artwork. We are here today to present to all of you some wonderful pieces that we have acquired and think would be perfect for the Cummer Museum.
As we all know, the female body has been an inspiration for some of the most beautiful art people have cherished for centuries. Pictured above is a sculpture of a Greek woman that represented the full-figured body type idealized during this era. Though speculated, historians assume this piece may be a tribute to Aphrodite, the goddess of love, beauty, and sexuality. The concept of female perfection has always existed, but beauty has maintained different definitions throughout each era. You can see that the sculpture displays more of a full figure, but now beauty standards are emulated through over-sexualized women in our media. Feminine beauty today requires different standards than what was expected of women in ancient Greece hundreds of years ago. Today, society idealizes very slender body types, as seen in the poster for Victoria's Secret's Perfect Body campaign. When this campaign was released in 2014, it was quickly targeted by critics and the public for promoting body shaming and causing negative body image. Though the ancient statue of these models have different body types, they both create a statement regarding gender and how women are perceived during these time periods. Art has the capability to evoke powerful emotions in people, as it can look so visually simple but represent so much more than displayed. The figure's torso speaks to a larger issue. Society has always focused on the perfect female form. We can see through art, photographs, and documented history that the social norm has always required women to live up to certain standards. We need to include this piece in the museum because it ultimately represents the defined beauty of an era. It can remind us to appreciate feminine beauty, but consider that all body shapes should be praised rather than just one. We can understand how these ancient issues correlate to our modern concerns. Museum goers will have the ability to appreciate the female body as exquisite artwork rather than unrealistic perfection.
Our next artifact is a statue of a woman in ancient Greece. The picture here shows a woman that the classical Greeks developed as funerary art. The statue represents the elite social class in ancient Greece and how they would represent and memorialize the dead. The families would have very distinct monuments and put up statues to honor the memory of their dead family members and also attract others to view these monuments. Greek artwork has always been inspired by the female form. The expectations were that they were always beautiful and dressed appropriately. The statue here shows a woman covering herself as a way to present herself as modest. You can see her face represents an expression of sadness in relation to the burial sites that would be behind them. This is believed to show the growing popularity of women, particularly on wives and mothers in the classical world. This statue goes with our theme of women and the visual representations people created for them. The statue portrays the idea that women were used as displays and as a way to gain emotional support during times of hardship and death. Pieces like this would be put outside town walls to advertise the foolishness of the living and memorialize the dead. They use women because a lot of these statues show the domestic life in ancient Greece. Compared to modern-day portrayals of women, it has become clear that some ideas have remained intact. Women are often seen as a source of comfort, a sort of nurturing being. The female statues were also used as a sort of advertisement for the locals to be attracted to, relating to the modern-day idea that women are often objectified for their looks. We can see here that this piece still relates to the value of today's society. This piece belongs in the museum because of the timeless value that it holds. This piece represents women and the idea that they hold beauty and modesty. It would be a wonderful addition to the museum to present the artwork produced in times of death and mourning in ancient Greece, and how they were able to overcome it through women. It would shed a different light on the ancient portrayals of women and give viewers a chance to appreciate them more through the beautiful statues shown.
In the last part of the exhibit, we found several artifacts that represented women's beauty standards in ancient Greece. Women used several different cosmetics, bottles of perfume, and expensive mirrors to beautify themselves. In a way, it was interesting to find these artifacts are very similar to our society today, in which women still use makeup and follow many trends to change their appearance. Typically, makeup was a representation of wealth in ancient Greece since they required many expensive materials. For instance, red color pastes were made with iron oxide and ochre clays, which was used to create lipsticks. Also, olive oil and charcoal were mixed together to make eyeshadows. However, some beauty standards were toxic that even some used white lead on their skin. In ancient Greece, different beauty trends existed similarly to our society today. For example, pale skin was extremely valued in Greek society, as well as blonde hair, even though these physical traits were very rare. However, one of the most common trends for men and women was using makeup to connect their eyebrows, which created a unibrow. Although makeup was an everyday trend, it was also thought as a sacred element in a woman's life in many different ways. Women often prepared to be as beautiful as they could for the most important day of their lives, their wedding day. Also, all perfumes, makeup, mirrors, and beautification tools were thought to be very personal items and were often buried with their owners when they died. Makeup and beautification still plays an important role in today's society. Women are expected to beautify themselves through the use of makeup, similarly like in ancient Greece. Today, it is a social norm that women are expected to look a certain way constantly, and it is looked down upon if they do not beautify themselves. At the museum, we came across several artifacts that represented women in ancient Greece. There were many beautiful statues and objects that showed the expectations of them during this time period. These artifacts of clothing, makeup, and social norms were very popular in ancient Greece, which formed their culture. Moreover, these pieces of art connect to our society today.
As we finish up our presentation, we hope you understand the beautiful art and objects of the classical era of ancient Greece. Greek society has many unique qualities within its cultures and values. However, it also shares many similarities with today's society regarding expectations of women. Although we have made many advances throughout history, some customs may never change.